What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Fairly Decent podcast. I am your host, Jason, and today is kind of a special episode. On May 8th, I will be celebrating 1 year since my liver transplant, and it has been a crazy year. So I guess I'm gonna spend this episode kind of talking a little bit about that. I know we like to get really topical sometimes on the podcast, and as of late, I have a lot of stuff that I do want to talk about, but as far as topics go, but I've steered away from the topics a little bit just to just have a conversation, not have everything be so structured and not have everything be so dialed in all the time. It's nice to just come and talk to you guys instead of kind of, like I said, being so topical and having so many bullet points and being very structured. So yeah, I mean, let's just kind of get right into it. I guess what I want to do first is if you're new here or a first time listener or whatever the case may be, or you may need a refresher, I have a whole series dedicated to this event that changed my life for the better, and it's a series called 5-8-23, and it kind of talks in detail about the before, during, and some of the after of my liver transplant, and so that's going to be more of a more in-depth, I guess, detailed version of kind of what's happened. But yeah, so we're just gonna kind of briefly go back in time a year and kind of reflect. So I guess I'll start with where I was before my liver transplant. Alcohol was a lot of things for me. Alcohol was something that celebrated good times, as most of us, use alcohol for. But alcohol was also something that took me to a very, 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 very negative and depressed place. At the height of it, drinking consumed my entire day. I didn't wake up or go to sleep without thinking about alcohol. My entire day was consumed by it. Whether it be like when I was going to drink next, or, just even as bad as like planning my day around it. As far as like work goes, and as far as, when I could and when I couldn't drink, and it took over my entire life, I guess is the easy way to put it. My daily life was run by alcohol, and after doing that for as long as I did, during the course of alcohol being so important in your life, you start to lose your appetite. So I wasn't eating a whole lot. I was probably eating like once a day, and it wasn't much at that. All of my calories and all of that stuff was all from alcohol, and whatever I was using to drink alcohol. I mean, it was all liquid calories basically at this point. So yeah, I'd lost my appetite completely. And with that, with anything, that I would assume addiction comes with, most people, don't sleep. And that was definitely a part of something that I was going through. No eating, no sleeping. Like I said, just my entire day was consumed by alcohol. And that's just something that I'm willing to admit now, just as like how far I've come. It's so much easier for me to talk about. It's so much easier to take accountability, for what I've done and for what has already been done, and, seeing the change in me, and, the therapy that I've gone through, and, just working it out, it's okay for me to talk about now. And, that's something that this podcast, hopefully does for other people also. Like, I want other people to be comfortable, talking about their situation, because I know for me, talking about it was like the worst thing in the world, that I wanted, like, that I could do. Like, above anything else, I just did not want to talk about it. So, like with that, you start to internalize a lot of problems and issues that you have going on, whether it be like with relationships or, with self-worth or whatever, like, you're going through in your life. You keep those things inside because you just don't want to talk about it. You don't want to hear it out loud. You don't want to, again, take the accountability for what's going on. And, me coming out on the other end of this situation, I feel more free than ever to talk about anything. There is nothing that I will shy away from now. And I get questions all the time. And, I get a lot of people who ask me, how are you so comfortable talking about this? And it's because, when you don't talk about it for so long, and you finally get the courage, and you finally, start to love yourself, and you finally kind of see what other people have always see in you, in yourself. That first time you talk about it is a feeling that I can't really describe. It just feels so free. It feels like there's nothing holding me back anymore. I can just be myself, and I can be honest with myself, and I can be honest with other people. And again, I can't really describe that feeling. It's the greatest feeling in the world. All right. So if you're new here, or, you just kind of need a refresher, that's kind of like what I'm going to give you as far as, bringing you kind of up to speed to, now where, at this point, my body is starting to shut down, and, my organs, specifically my liver, obviously, are, just starting to fail, and I can feel it in my body. The people around me can see it. Your skin starts to turn a different color. Your eyes, start to just not look right, and, you start to feel, like you're dying. I mean, that's just, it is what it is. You start to feel like you're dying. So, yeah, so I mean, long story short, long story, if you want to go back and listen to, there's 3 parts to that 5/8/23 series. I would highly recommend, going back and listening to those so you can get a more in detail version of, what I'm saying or telling you now. But yeah, so I get to the hospital, and, they give you enough stuff to where, you don't really feel anything physically, but mentally is where it got kind of scary, because you don't really know what's going on, right? I mean, not all of us, most of us aren't doctors. So, they're kind of just doing a whole bunch of stuff to you, and you're like, what is going on? And, again, eventually I just got to the point where I wasn't here anymore. And that's all I'm going to say about that right now. Again, you can go back and listen to the previous episodes for a little bit more on that. But yeah, so I had my liver transplant, and that's kind of the short version of what was going on. And so I wake up, and I'm in the hospital and all this stuff, and I get better. I get a lot better. I start going to physical therapy. I start going to, actual therapy, and I start, releasing some of these demons that I have. I start getting, comfortable with myself, and I get to a point where, I love myself, more than I ever have in my entire life. And, it's one of those things that unless you feel it, unless you have been through it, it's kind of hard to describe. Loving yourself is very, very, very important. And I think that it is a huge step in anybody's life, whether you're going through addiction, whether you have problems going on in your life, or whether like you don't, whether everything's fine. I think loving yourself and getting to that point is so key, in happiness and in, finding what your purpose is. And, I learned to love myself when I stopped lying to myself. So I don't know if anybody needs to hear that, but I'll say it again. I really learned to love myself when I stopped lying to myself and to others. I got a lot closer to myself. I got a lot closer to my own mind. I learned how to, control these emotions that we get every single day. I learned, what they mean and how to respond to them, and, what to do when, things aren't going my way or anything like that. I finally learned how to kind of separate emotions for, what they are, and, internalize them and kind of, take them on two thoughts instead of one. Trying not to react on a snap decision, kind of really process what's going on in everyday life. And once I kind of learned how to do that, and I combined that with, I really, really love myself. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but I went through a very long time of hating myself. And that's kind of, how my drinking spiraled is, I never thought I was good enough. I never thought I was, good looking. I never thought I was like any of these things that, just help build self-worth. And, coming out of this surgery, I love myself more than ever. I think, highly of myself in all aspects. And that's okay. Like, don't ever let somebody tell you, you love yourself too much. That does not exist. Love yourself as much as you want to love yourself. I think that's very important. Super, super important in, maintaining a healthy relationship with other people, with yourself. I think, loving yourself brings happiness. I think it allows you to give other people happiness. But I'm not going to go on a rant about that. I kind of already did. But so I learned how to love myself. And like I said, it got me closer to myself and my mind. And, I learned how to take accountability for my actions. And, I started to have a sense of purpose, with Fairly Decent, with the podcast, with the supply company, with the clothing, doing these charity events. I have my 2 bus stops that, I really care for. And, just all of that combined, I don't know that I would have achieved, without this surgery and without this like second chance at life, and like over this past year, I can't tell you how many ups and downs there have been. Certainly more ups than downs, but the downs, after you have surgery and you can't walk, you can't eat, you can't talk, you can't do anything, you can't barely move. Your body is not really dependent on alcohol anymore, but it just, life is brand new when you have to, learn how to walk again. You have to learn how to talk. You have to learn how to eat. You have to learn how to do everything you've been doing your entire life. You have to relearn, how to do some of the downs, can get really down, but, moving forward, I am super, super, super excited. I'm going to continue to maintain a positivity, it's going to continue to grow. I feel good. Every single day I wake up, I thank God, and, I pray for my friends and my family, and I do my meditation, and I wake up every day with a clear mind. And, like I said, moving forward, just maintaining that positivity and maintaining my happiness and maintaining my mindfulness and continuing to grow every single day, and continuing to, build positive and beneficial relationships, continuing to, inspire others and continue to be inspired, because, it's really easy to, fall complacent, in your growth. And, so I continue to be inspired by others. Everybody, around me inspires me right now. And that again, isn't something that I've had for a very long time. Every single person who is around me inspires me. And, I want to thank everybody. Anybody who has been a part of this process, and anybody who might in the future be a part of this process, I want to thank you. There is no possible way that I could have done it, without the people who are around me now, without the support of my family and, my friends and my doctors, and, who you are if you're around me. Thank you to all of you. So I have a couple thank yous. I want to thank all of you who listen. In just a short year, we're up to almost 2,000 subscribers. I just looked on the analytics earlier today. In the past year, we've reached 44,000 views, and starting this, that is not something that I ever even imagined. I kind of created this space for myself to have a place to go to when I'm thinking about something, and I can record it and I can go back and listen to it later and, make an assessment. And that's kind of how this started. And then, it turned into what it is now. And it's truly, truly, truly amazing. Like I said, thank you all for allowing me this space. Thank you, for all of you who reached out to me privately, with your inspiration and your kind words, and, about some of you, like how the podcast has motivated you, and, how what I'm saying, a lot of people, need to hear. And just hearing stuff like that, it more than motivates me. It makes me want to go 50 times harder. And, this next year, I plan on going 50 times harder. I plan on going 100 times harder. There's no amount to what I can do, what we can do, as a community. So I just want to thank every one of you, for being so real with me, through the good and the bad, everything. This year has been definitely the best year of my entire life. And I have, my doctors and my family and my friends and you all, and I have just everyone to thank for that. I really don't know what else to say, y'all. It is truly amazing to see what is going on right now. And I definitely have some really, really big news coming soon. I'm gonna find a cool way to, sort of put all this information out. A lot of it has to do with the podcast. A lot of it has to do with the store. And, I'm just really, really excited for what's going on. And, again, I just want to thank all of y'all for coming back every single week, every single month, to listen to what's going on, and, for your support and reaching out and all of that stuff. I don't have any more words for it. So I'm going to go ahead and, end it there. Thank y'all for an amazing year. And let's make this next year even better. So I'm gonna leave it there. Appreciate y'all for coming back. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.